Aloha, it is Dave Lawrence, and I'm here with Paul Phillips and Wes Scantlin from Puddle of Mud. We're backstage at Bayfest. A big aloha and mahalo for taking some time for me.
Aloha mahalo.
Brother Paul.
Yes, aloha mahalo.
In the house.
And you are in the house. And your first gig here, and we were talking the other day on the phone, and so I was trying to think of some things to talk about that maybe would pluck your interest, things from your past maybe you don't talk about all the time when you do interviews. I checked out this fan page, and it was talking about how when you and your siblings were young, you had a house that was always filled with music of some sort, was the quote in there. And I was just curious, when you were a kid, what were some of those first musical experiences, or what would they be alluding to on your fan page about you, Wes?
Oh shoot! My uncle Brian Scantlin had he played guitar. He played a lot of Rush. You know, he had like a custom, one of them bubbly looking cabinets. You know what I'm talking about, Paul?
Oh, the customs.
Yeah, like the little poofy looking ones. Yeah, he had one of those. He played like Rush, and my mom was a singer. And then my grandmother actually, I found out like years later that she actually was a drummer. And I've been trying to score some pictures of my grandmother playing the drums back when she was like a little teenager. And then I think my Uncle Jug was like a piano player. My mom played piano. My grandmother played the organ.
Make a difference in how you've turned out?
My dad was always singing something weird. You know, wasn't really a singer, but he's always just talked really, really loud. Pretty much it. It's about all, you know. My brother played the trumpet. And I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Paul, yourself, what were the earliest things that brought you to music?
My dad played guitar. He worked himself through college. He was in bands, so he always had like, you know, all the classics around. He was playing Zeppelin and the Stones and Hendrix and, you know, all that. So I kind of naturally when I got into music, I kind of naturally gravitated to the guitar as well.
You feel like you owe some credit for that?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you know, a lot of the stuff that he was playing back then, I wasn't into yet, because I kind of was like more into like metal. You know, it took me a while to like go back and discover the roots. But
what was he playing?
You know, he played like The Ventures, played like Dick Dale, the Beach Boys,
surf guitar,
a lot of that, man. And then you know, he did some Stones and stuff too, stuff like that. You know, that we would try to jam, and it was like, you know, I was playing like power chords and metal, and he was like playing all that stuff. So the jam sessions didn't go too well back then. But now I'm a little more versed now, so now we can jam a little bit.
You can appreciate it, like what it did on that same early rock too.
This interview is already going. I love that. I didn't even know that.
Wesley Presley, is that for real?
That's what my dad called me. Yeah.
Tell me about what made him call you that. What were you doing, and how had the King influenced you?
They had the Elvis and the crew. They all had those movies and stuff, you know, and I would just like dance in front of the TV, you know, when I was a little kid, and you know, and it just kind of rhymed, you know. So
you were into Elvis, though.
Yeah, I mean, Elvis is the king. He's cool. I got kicked out of his. I
was getting to that. I've heard there's a story with you, Graceland, and a swimming pool. What happened?
Yeah, nothing. It was just kind of like a dare, you know. My drummer dared me to jump in the pool, you know, and I was like, I had my swimming trunks on, so I jumped in and did like a jackknife and got out real quick, put my shorts back on, and thought I had like escaped without any harm. And then next thing you know, this lady comes up, like, "What in the heck are you taking, boy? What are you taking, boy? Get the heck on out here!"
Were you there when this happened?
I actually was not there, but I've seen the photo, and I don't think it was your swim trunks. I think it was your underwear, which makes it even better.
Yeah, man. It was swim trunks.
That's a great story, though.
I don't know why I had them on. I think I was out of underwear because we were on tour for so long.
It wasn't that you were prepared to go in his pool.
No, I actually did not plan it, you know. But it was really hot out that day, and you know, it was just a joke. Nobody got hurt, you know, and the pool was really actually a beautiful temperature, and
Makes for a great story. Little Steven from Springsteen's East Street Band. Bruce actually, he was there with Bruce, and Bruce climbed the wall to Graceland. So I think it's kind of cool you actually went in the pool.
Yeah, I got completely kicked out. And I had these guys down the street from a muffler shop, take me back to the hotel, and they were laughing their brains out at me, and just, I don't know, it was pretty funny.
It's a good story.
I could probably get back in if I really want to, but
I think you could probably
let time pass.
Odd you didn't cover Elvis though on Rediscovered.
Yeah,
What would you cover if you were going to do an Elvis tune?
I'd probably do Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, man.
Paul?
Jailhouse Rock, maybe.
That would be. I could hear that. I was telling him. What was it? Atlanta Rhythm Section Spooky. You know that tune, Spooky? I was telling him when I first heard the record, when Danny sent it to me, I was like, man, next time I'll send you guys a link to it. I just think it'd be a good one for you to go.
Oh, yeah? I'll have to check it out. I don't know that one, man.
Which one would I not? The one I would not do is, Are You Lonesome Tonight? I couldn't do that, man. I'm like...
When you were younger, I read radio was important to you, and we're in this era when both the album and radio, to some degree, it's kind of like the twilight in some ways. I don't want to think that either is going to go away, but we all know sitting here that things are changing. Was radio really important to you in connecting with rock, and share any stories that you might have?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when we were growing up, I'm sure we're probably the same age, I'd just basically fall asleep to the alarm clock, and just put on my favorite radio station in Kansas City, which was pretty much 98.9 The Rock, and I would just fall asleep to it, and I'd wake up to it, so I mean I would just listen to whatever was on the radio.
It was your vehicle to rock.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe it incinerated in my mind. I don't know, maybe it melted in there somehow.
How about you?
For me, I kind of grew up in a smaller town in Georgia, and we didn't really have rock radio. It was very top 40 in country. So for me, actually was getting was getting MTV. Like when I got MTV,
right. Okay.
That's when I was introduced to Van Halen and
harder rock and stuff that you could connect with.
And Twisted Sister and Motley Crue, and I didn't go. Mr. or Flock of Seagulls. I thank goodness I went the other way.
We all appreciate that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to see that Flock of Seagulls hair again. Although, he had his thing. But whatever. So yeah, that's what got... That's what got you.
A very unique hairdo.
Yeah, but, give the guy a break, dude.
They're coming here for a private event next month. It's so weird that you would even...
Guy, flies jets now or something, right?
Isn't that the dude from Maiden?
Well, he does too.
Oh, a bunch of guys are doing that.
The guy that
Oh, and Gary Newman?
Gary Newman, he flies jets or something too, man.
Chris DeGarmo from Queensryche.
He flies jets too?
He flies jets. He actually quit Queensryche and does that now. I don't know what that is. Why rockers start flying.
Well, maybe it's like we were saying, the album, it's getting to this point where what's going to happen with the records? I don't know. Maybe you need that second racket to make dough.
Right, yeah.
Like for you, that could be maybe down the road. When was the last time you were at Hayes Hamburgers and Chili? And what do you get when you go there?
Seriously, dude?
What do you get when you...
Oh, at Hayes Hamburgers, I would make a bowl of this chili. I mean, the way they make the chili is insane. They just put this big tube of fat into this huge pot, and then you melt it, and then you put this huge 2 tubes of meat in there, and then spices and all this stuff, and it's basically just fat and meat and all this stuff.
It's yummy.
It's really good. And you put onions, and then it's just a collage of just complete. It's not good for you. But
you still eat there?
No, I haven't been there for a long time, but I worked there and it was pretty cool. I got fired by 17 times.
But they were family friends, so they kept welcoming you back.
Yeah, well, sort of. Yeah, not the last time though.
Was that a catalyst for more with the mud?
Well, it was another job that I had that, I guess Jim Hayes would just kind of deal with it and, know that I did a gig the night before and I was going to be probably kind of hungover the next day. I'd show up late for work at 7:30 in the morning, like, you know, like a freaking weirdo, and like whatever. I don't know, man. Thank you, Jim, for firing me 800 times.
Well, maybe it pushed you musically to be where you're at. Are there?
I don't think I am, and I'm not any longer behind the milk like dispenser thing. There used to be like a poster, but I think they got rid of that.
Of you in there?
Yeah, the old puddle of mud, but it's not in there anymore.
I like that. That's cool. I just I was curious because I'm from the Philly area, so whenever I have like Philly area guests, we talk about cheesesteaks. But for you, I had to get out the Hayes hamburgers. As you've toured, you guys have, you've been around a long time. You've seen a lot of different stuff throughout the world. I'm curious if as you've ventured to different communities in different places, do you find there's any kind of values from the place that you grew up that are with you to this day, or maybe influence you, Paul? That maybe you notice aren't in places elsewhere where you think, man, I like going back home because of...
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely have a small town mentality growing up in one in Georgia, and then, where I live now, I live in Jacksonville, but I live at the beach in Florida, and it's just slow, laid back, probably kind of how it is here. There's that beach lifestyle, and everything slows down a bit, and then you go to your big downtown urban jungle rat race cities, where the traffic's just horrible, and people are rushing around, and everybody's so stressed out and in their suit and tie and going to work, and I don't know that I could do that. I mean, you come to work in your flip-flops.
I know, it's crazy.
You know what I mean? There's something cool about it, and it keeps you young, man. You know what I mean? So if when you don't have that, you don't have time to enjoy life, you kind of miss out on a lot because you're busy doing other things. So.
You noticed something there. That's cool. And that's Brandon from Incubus was telling me. It's kind of like keeping novelty in your life, sort of summing up what you just said. Sort of. Wes, same thing. Kansas City. You've ventured all over. Is there anything that made you who you are, that makes you like, like signposts along the way in the kind of person that you are?
Oh, lordy lord. I think the woods, and just getting out in the woods and, building forts and stuff like that. And recently I've just been talking to a friend of mine and going like, man, I really liked it back in the day when and a lot of people are going to think I'm weird for saying this, but it's like there was no cell phones. Like your mom would like leave a little note or something by the answering machine, and you could like go ride your bike around or something, go in the woods and shoot bottle rockets off, or like go build some forts or something, or go hunting or something like that. And it just seemed
simpler.
Yeah, it was simpler, and it was cool because I mean, it's like, my phone shuts off for like one day. I mean, I get like hate text messages from people, and it's just so weird, It's like, my mom just used to leave like a little note, by the answering machine. But, that's cool. Just growing up on the lake and just swimming and just being able to get away from everything and just kind of like just rehearsing and practicing and just being able to just not have to worry about all the
constant connectedness.
Yeah, man, the connection of communication is just so fast paced now. It's just really mind boggling, and it's like I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, Hey man, I dropped my phone accidentally,
give me a day off
somewhere. I didn't mean to do it, but it's like, hey man, it's like, you're a jerk, why aren't you like texting me back? And it's like, hey man, like back in the day, it's like, I was just playing in the woods or something, or I was at school. And, I'd call whoever back and say, hey, what's going on? But nobody was mad at each other, But now everybody gets mad at you.
I like that, longing for the simplicity. There's something in that, dude.
That happens to me all the time, man,
I can imagine, like, there's so many people who want your time now. It must get a little overbearing. It's like a time consumer.
He doesn't do that. I mean,
Paul, you're good with him?
A lot. Broke his phone again.
I can appreciate that, but like on the other hand, I sometimes sit down and Like, how did we ever
live without this?
anything? You know what I mean? I think, like, how did people tour back in the day when, like, you had to stop and do all your connections at, like, a phone booth at a truck stop or something and call your manager and find out what you got to do tomorrow, and there's no email, you know, you don't have an email of all the interviews you have to do tomorrow and this and that. You got to, like, actually call somebody on a payphone. It's just like, how did the touring industry?
What about, like, the Pony Express, man? You know, like,
Telegraph.
I mean, yeah, like, you know,
Smoke
they
signals.
write a letter, and, like, some dude would get on a horse, you know, just, you know, I don't know, who knows where the dude was going, but drop off some mail, and then, like, we can get out, you know, I mean.
And how did we live without signing on to Facebook every day and hearing what your friend had for breakfast? Right. I mean, you know what I mean?
Eating stuff.
The most mindless commentary.
Or how ugly the cashier was at the grocery store. You know, that's important information for you to get.
I don't care, man. Really. I went to 7-Eleven, I got a Slurpee, I was on my bike, and I came home and I saw that, you know, my brother had called and left a message, said, hey, you know, give me a call and talk to you. I mean, it's like, you know.
On the flip side of that all the success has enabled you to probably, both of you, enjoy more stuff in your life. And of those things that, by having a success of Puddle of Mud, what are some of the finer material things, like a bigger house, maybe an expensive car, that you're most grateful for that your lifestyle has provided you?
Well, you know, a lot of people say money can't buy you love, and it doesn't really. I mean, it does give you a little bit more of a comfortable cushion. You know, it's, I guess you can take care of your family a little bit, you know, a lot better and stuff.
That's a nice thing to include them up front that much, so you think in that way almost first and foremost?
I mean, you know, it's really, really nice to be able to provide for your family, you know, for the craft that you have, you know, that you learn how to do, and you know, that really, you know, is heartfelt, and you feel you know, you feel very good about that inside. And you know, it's, I don't know what the word is. It's like, you know, you just feel like becoming successful in this business is, you know, a pain in the rear. We're fortunate enough to have had that happen, and it's nice to be able to provide, you know, some nice things for your family. And then the downside of that whole thing is, like, you know, people take advantage of you, and it's really sad to see it happen. And you know, fortunately, if you're smart enough to catch it, you know, you can just kind of get it out of your life. But you know, the whole thing is just like being able to, like, take care of your family, you know, and all the people that you really love in your life, and all your friends, and, you know, keep everybody, like, really close to you that really, like, cares about you a lot. You know, that's the best thing, you know.
What a good thing that you would bring them even closer when you have that to share with them. It's a very heartfelt answer, and a different one than maybe a lot of people would expect to hear from you. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to ask it of you. The same with you, Paul. Are there things that, like, you're really grateful for that this career has been able to give you? Or, you know, maybe they're the same things as Wes?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a comfort. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's like life is such a rat race, and you can get caught up in it and miss your life. And our job allows us to kind of slow down, and I don't necessarily worry about money on a daily basis. I mean, obviously, I want to continue to keep putting out records and be able to do this for a living, but it's, you know, every day I'm not worried about where my next meal is coming from, and it allows a certain level of comfort, and we're very lucky with that. I mean, obviously we got to travel a lot and do all that, but it could be so much worse, you know, and just be miserable. We get to do what we love for a living, and we get to do it every night. So
do you feel like you guys have to sort of plot a course to make sure that you can maintain what you've got? Meaning, like, you want to deliver a product that you know is going to continue to provide, that it's what kids want. Do you ever feel like what you're making is evolving to the point where it's not fit for Puddle of Mud and maybe it would be something else?
You know, you really can't. I don't think you can think about that too much. I think you just have to do what's on your mind and what's in your heart, and feel what you're doing. I mean, otherwise, go hire a bunch of award-winning, amazing songwriters to write your songs for you and get #1 hit singles. You know, that's not what we do. We write what we write, and if people dig it, they dig it, and if not, then they don't. You know,
a lot of #1 hit singles, dude.
I'm just saying we don't sit down and go. We don't sit down and go, this is going to be a #1 hit single. Somebody like, Desmond Child, or, writers like that sit down at the piano and go, okay, this is going to be a hit single. This is how you do it. Copy paste, da 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 da. We don't do that. We just make music, and luckily, like he said, we have had a bunch of #1 hit singles, but it's not really our intention. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. I'm glad that we have, but we don't sit down with that intention.
And I just, as a final note, because I know you got to go work, I think on that thing that we're talking about, there's something so magical in a band that can make a video like Spaceship that's so funny, so raunchy, rocking, cool that you can kick back and groove to. But at the same time, that same band can do something like Blurry, which you can have mean a lot to you, whether it's something that you've gone through with divorce, maybe it's something you've gone through with kids, maybe you don't have a kid, and it was like I told you when I watched you and your son in that video, it made me think, wow, that's something I'll never really have. It's so touching to watch you guys together. Is it meaningful to you that your music can cross that many realms, I guess, or would you rather just be a partying dude like you are? It's kind of like it goes against the partying thing, the other side of you.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, everything's not about partying and everything. I mean, it's just, we're out here. Of course, we're having fun being, successful musicians and, successful songwriters. But I mean, it's not. We are having fun, but at the end of the day, man, we're just really normal, heartfelt guys trying to write some cool songs, and we sit down and we really, we stay up late at night and sit down with acoustic guitars and we sing until we basically just keel over our guitars, and it does mean a lot to us, and there's things in our lives that mean, the world to us, like my son, and Paul's like, one of my best friends in the world, and a lot of people in my life are just like super close to me, and I can write about them, and it's just, that's an outlet, and it's just, it's not meaningless, and it's really cool to be able to have people around you that care about you, that you can vent and kind of write really magical stuff about, that have touched your life, in a great way. It's really touching and magical.
Well, we're lucky as fans, and thanks for being willing to share these stories with me, and it's cool to be able to touch on this stuff with you. You really, like I said, you've made songs that can really mean a lot to someone like Blurry. You made songs that people can really rock out to and have a lot of fun with, and that's cool. You can cover the bases like that. You're a diverse artist. That's why I wanted to touch base with you and just let you know we appreciate it, and thank you very much for taking a few minutes for me.
Thank you very much, man. We appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for all the fans. We love you guys.